He is going to be taking over for Klaus Schwab, and this is a new Hitler, a new Nazi. This guy thinks that we're all useless and that we're part of a useless class of humans. And now I'm less useless than you guys because I work with AI all the time, apparently. I just want to say, like, this is why I say, and I'm not going to have to lift a finger in this coming fight. People are going to string these little fuckers up, like Yuval Harari, who's taking over for Klaus Schwab, and they're going to rip them apart with V8s. I'm telling you, it's on its way. I mean, I already have enough anger. I won't even. It's like super R-rated. It's like if you could just triple the R's, the kind of things that I would like to see happen to these ruling classes with all their political connections. But because you and I don't have political connections, we're all useless and are bound to go extinct. And this guy is going to be taking over for the World Economic Forum as Klaus Schwab is stepping down. I guess he's realizing he didn't make it to immortality after all. That it's just amazing to me that these people, they fly around the world, tell us all how we're supposed to live, and then somehow they imagine they'll just magically survive the World War III or the revolution or whatever. Blows my mind because if the world is full of useless overpopulation, he's the top of the heap of people who are useless and have to be removed. Like, every time there's somebody who says there's just not enough food, not enough resources, too many people, my immediate thought is, well, you could be the first one to go. That's my immediate thought. So I just want to put that out there. I don't know anything about what Rick posted of the alien thing. I haven't gone through that paper yet that Rex shared from Harvard about aliens among us. I wouldn't be surprised if there are aliens among us trying to promote the idea that there's too many of us, regular humans. I know this. These guys like that will be the first to go, and I will stand and watch, and I will cheer. I will be happy to watch the Mad Maxing of these useless tits at the top of these organizations. It blows my mind that they openly say whatever, and regular people don't pick up on it and don't know about people like Yuval Harari. And of course, he speaks with the German accent. So it's just how wonderful, It's just so wonderful to see that Darth Schwab is being replaced by a gay what is it called? A metrosexual Hitler with a Napoleon complex. So you're all useless because you don't use AI like I do. Sorry. Bye. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Anyways, good morning. Good morning. It's beautiful here.
Good morning.
Or good evening to some of you. So, what are you all gonna do now that you know you're useless? God.
I'm not going to give two shits about it.
Yeah. Well, this guy does, and he wants to limit how much beef and gas you can get.
Ramon, you're missing the point. The G7 summit's on at the moment, and out of the ones that are there's probably only two of them that will be in office of any sort of power in 3 months' time. They're all facing elections, and they all look like get defeated.
There's elected power. There's elected power, and then there's the power that buys that. And these are the kind of guys that buy it.
Yeah. Yep. I understand what you're saying as well. But what I mean is a lot of the puppets are all getting shifted. So there'll be a different lot, and they've got to hope they can control them as well. Yeah. That might be a problem for a little while.
Well, I just would like for the common people to wake up, but they don't even know basic things, man. It blows my mind. I walked into a deli and asked everyone in the deli if they knew who Klaus Schwab was, and none of them knew. None of them had heard of him. So they're not going to know who this guy is. This guy has sold 9 million books. 9 million books. Right? And nobody knows who he is.
He's there
and people
to
more,
bring in
they
the
know.
2030 agenda. He's there to bring in the 2030 agenda, I think, Ramon.
Exactly. Exactly.
David Icke talks about it quite a lot. And it's basically where Google and the big info corporations get direct access to the human brain, apparently, and are able, using various types of suggestive programming, be able to stop you thinking. Basically, you'll just receive your orders from a server, and off you go and carry them out. I suppose it'll inflict pain on you if you don't carry out your orders or something. But it's all pointing to another devolution of the human being, and that's what they're trying to achieve.
That's their goal. That's their goal. Of course, we have the big G, and we have our own form of code access. But I guess people got to know about it. That's the one downside on ours. They know about it because they passed it for hundreds of years with all their Masonic practices and everything. And now they have tons of corporations. They have tons of real estate. They have tons of deep state agencies and intelligence agencies that work for them. They've got their own large language models. They've got everything they need to manipulate all the useless people of the planet. And we're just all the people doing all the work that keep them alive, feed everyone, make sure that the infrastructure actually works. Yeah. So it's just, it really, it galls me. Even if I work with the AI and I am not a useless person, according to this man's theory, it galls me because I come from very humble people, because these are the people that build the world. And after all, every electrical and water station should have a mechanical override function. There shouldn't be ever a full automation where software is used to run that facility. There should always be a valve that can be cranked or opened in order to make sure that things keep flowing. But I mean, the 5G network, the way it went up without even, a hearing about it, and no one asking the public what they thought. It's a big deal, especially now that we have 2 time-stamped papers where the phone sonic attack, as they call it, Havana syndrome to me and my children, and it was verified that it was coming from the phone because I just put it on airplane mode and then turned the phone off, and could definitely tell a huge difference. That doesn't prove that there was someone behind it. There could have been electrical conditions in the sky that made my nervous system more vulnerable, but it does prove that there is an effect. And that we're now having time-stamped examples of when this is occurring. So I don't know. I just know this. When it happens and the people hook them up to V8s and just pull every direction, I'm not going to lift. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not. Oh, the humanity. Oh, don't cast the first stone. Fuck that. I'm going to stand by and go, not bad. You should hear what my brain says you could do. I was in a foul mood last night. I was telling Will all the things that I would have done, and he was coming up with really humane ways of getting rid of these people. I was just like, no, that's too nice. I find them all terrible. I don't want to be around these guys. They think they're going to run the planet, and they're more likely to ruin the planet than the AI is. The AI doesn't do anything until you tell it to do something. But all these guys are just sitting around doing all sorts of evil all day long.
Well, the whole thing is that these bent decision makers are supported by an army of civil servants who are complete programmed yes men, and
that's true.
And gleefully carry out the overlord's nasty wishes on the population. It's like, for example, the British Home Office, which is responsible for who it decides to admit into the country with a visa. There aren't any English people who work there. None. There aren't fucking any.
Wow. Wow.
and
Wow.
that's right through the whole system.
That's not an accident. It's sort of like all the family court judges here in my home city, at least, they're all female. It's not an accident. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I've said my piece. Good morning, buddy. We haven't heard from you. Good morning. How's Michigan?
How's it going, guys? Doing good. Just got a little bit of rain, and I'm planning some events in October, so my schedule's totally booked. Double booked on weekends. Now I'm running 2 booths in 2 different places, so the freeze-dried candy and crafts is going really good.
Oh, yeah, this would be a good time to advertise. Now that we're talking about Klaus Schwab and all this stuff, it'd be a good time to re-advertise your business. Let the people on the show and on YouTube and Rumble know what you do and how they can get a hold of you to order some of your freeze-dried stuff.
Well, I don't really do online orders. I just do in person, and I don't really need to advertise because I'm not looking to try to build a huge company out of it. It's lucrative enough. It's lucrative enough to where I just show up at places with thousands of people and I just make money. So
okay. Well,
I'm not trying to do like I don't know, like a brand name. When people show up at my booth, you know, it's
what isn't it Grandma's Kitchen or something like that?
Yeah, Grandma's Space Kitchen.
Space Kitchen.
But yeah, I can't do online orders anyway unless I'm under unless I get my kitchen. I gotta have a licensed kitchen. So I'm just doing as much as I can do without having to get a licensed kitchen at this point.
Gotcha.
And
all right.
I'm going a different direction that a lot of freeze-dried candy people go.
Hey man, it's very punk to me. I'm cool. It doesn't off grid. It's as off grid, you know, as you can be when having to rely on electricity.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we could talk about the other, topics. Like I mentioned, Rex has gone crazy for this Harvard study. I haven't gone through it. There's a whole lot of manipulation already happening in politics. Obviously, AI is always a topic. I suppose I would just tell the audience that, now there's a whole bunch of academic bots on emcgateway.com, including now a Spacers bot. So you can get access if you don't want to read. This is a message to Rick here. If you don't want to read Conquering the Solar System because it's 160 pages, you no longer have to. You can talk to the Spacers bot. It knows the whole paper. It knows the Birkeland polyphase superweb paper. It knows about the expansion of satellites and all those kinds of things, homes of the future. You can go and talk to it. You can have it produce art, whatever you want. And all you got to do is have your GPT account. All the EPMC bots are free for the public to use. We have a number of new types of bots as well. There's a new MIMS bot. I haven't yet updated the website. I'm still kind of testing that MIMS bot. But there is an evolution happening here in the EPMC framework. I find it hilarious that there's sort of a jockeying for who gets to be the face of all this stuff. And here I've already built this mountain. It's now a mountain chain of EPMC, and no one is the face. You know, it's. I'm just saying, I really don't think it's going to be Ben or Terrence or whoever else. Vote is dead now. Thunderbolts guys are dying. The fact is that this cosmology is for humanity, for the future, for the posterity and the legacy, and it's built on the works and graves of many great men of history from Gilbert to now. And I'm getting close to the point where I will have created enough summary files that I'll feel, pretty good about stepping away from writing papers. Right now, I have about 10 more that are on backlog that I need to get out there. But it has been a lot of work and a lot of fun. I do think it's time for a lot of us to, find healthy ways to capitalize on our knowledge, on the things that we've built and worked for. And there's probably going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I do personally that I always keep talking about, and I just don't publish because I won't have the time. But I'm going to keep evolving newer and newer bots. I will end up creating bots for, Donald Scott and Ralph Jurgens. There'll be a Scott Jurgens bot. There will be a bot for a couple of the other researchers. I don't have PDFs of, say, Eduardo Cardona or the guy who wrote Starfucker. I don't have PDFs for that work, so I can't train a bot for a lot of the Electric Universe guys. But there will be an Electric Universe bot that is like, it hones in, knows very detailed information about Thunderbolt's project. I'll probably at some point create transcripts for all of the Discourses of an Alien Sky and Symbols of an Alien Sky documentaries and YouTube videos, and I will probably train up a bot just around those, so that Dave Talbot's voice remains with us as the future evolves. But the environment in which we're able to reach and educate people is also changing. And I feel a strong tug that with all this generative AI stuff, aside from maybe making some spacers papers, mostly my work will be a lot of speculative philosophy personally. But then the creation of things like video games and imagery. I'd like to create simulations. I'd like to do a lot of generative. And I want to say before I get to doing all that that's not science. It's only to help to support the papers that already were done. It's not like, if it's generated by a simulation of any kind, it's not science. It's art. And so this is my what do they call that, disclaimer before I create any kind of simulations of what happened with the breakdown of Shamash. That's not where the science of where Shamash came from, where it comes from, right? It comes from all of the study of the myths and the lore and the rock art. And I do think that one thing that I've always been a proponent of and want to continue is more and more like day trips and on-site surveys, connecting to that past, that history. It remains viable. I've proven that the mysteries of anything from plasma glyphs to the rock art will appear to you if you are on the right channel. I mean, I've found hobo art with plasmaglyphic symbols in it that just suddenly appears out of nowhere. So I think that it's going to come time where I get to retire and enjoy doing whatever I want with EPMC, and then the hardcore of what needs to happen is the next generations of people, which could be my kids, it could be your all's kids, I don't know. They need to step forward and actually go and use these standards that have been laid out and do something with it. And there's not much we can do about the total insanity of the world. You know that even one of Terrence Howard's friends, I forget the guy's name, but I guess he's big in the world with like Nassim Haramein, that kind of world. Even he did a geometry debunking of 1 × 1 = 2. And that was shared by Andy, I think. And I watched it and I was like, this is unnecessary, but once again, useful. It's just that we live in a time of people are just making up shit as they go. And I hope that people will use the tools I've set up, you know. Read that out, buddy. It sounds interesting. Eric Weinstein said,
it's a long one. It's one of my posts from yesterday, but Eric Weinstein said on the Joe Rogan podcast, the most important object in the entire universe is hop vibrations.
that's an interesting theory.
Yeah,
I don't
Eric
really put
Weinstein,
much stock in what Eric Weinstein says, though, to be honest with you.
yeah, me neither. But he's shooting in the right direction. I think he's pointing in the right direction. But
Yeah.
the complexities of his work, geometric, what is it called? Geometric models or something. It's the name of his.
You talking about Hopf or Weinstein?
His theory, Weinstein's theory. Geometric unity. Geometric unity is the name of it. But back to what you were saying a minute ago, it'd be good to train. A Buckminster Fuller bot. A Buckminster Fuller. Yeah. A Buckminster Fuller. Coxeter.
I think a geometry bot in general that has training for each of those guys, because remember, it will already have a massive amount of training in the background. It's getting the details, because what it gets oftentimes are summaries, you know, from its training. So what we would want to do is get the best details to put into training this geometry bot, the most obscure stuff that is the most important at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like there's only a few people working on videos every once in a while on the Thunderbolts now. They're down to that Matt Finn guy. Matt Finn, whoever Matt Finn is.
I think he's a British guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think they're just using him. They wanted me to do ghost writing for Dr. Michael Claridge on his paper. And
what does that involve, translating that into other words, or what does ghostwriting involve?
Writing for him under his name and using my words and my ideas. I'm like, no thanks. I'll do my own videos. I did a whole transcript about tubes within tubes and how everything throughout the universe coalesces and breaks down into one way or another tubes within tubes to transit material. And then they turned the transcript down and wanted me to change a bunch of stuff. And then lo and behold, the next person who does a presentation is talking about everything is tubes. And then they wanted me to write as a ghostwriter for Dr. Michael Claridge. I'm like, so what, you guys are just using me?
Are here a conspiracy theorist. But aside from it being possibly a conspiracy, it just seems unethical of them to do that to you.
I know. It's like totally wrong. And I'm like, what do they think? I'm just a fucking patsy or something? Someone to just be like, oh, we'll just throw this towards Buddy and see what Buddy has to say about it and use his words in general and just use it for Michael Claridge. I'm like, what are you guys even fucking doing? Like, you're just like taking my content and putting it in the mouth of a doctor to give some credulity to it or something. I don't know.
I suppose you'd have editorial rights over it all as well, buddy, for free.
What'd you say?
I suppose he'd have full editorial rights on your ghostwriting before he puts it out under his name.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So that's just a total no-go. You might as well carry on working for Terence Howard for free. You just get your own ideas out there, buddy. Take ownership of them, man, because they're all trying to take ownership out of a lot of your original thought. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's coming left and right from every angle.
For the geometry bot, I am going to need something from you, like a up to 100-page PDF of your top works and images and your words, your thoughts, and then that PDF. No one can access the PDF; it just goes into the back end. But then it could go alongside 9 other of the most important geometry, people that you consider needs to be in there, and then we would have a geometry bot that fits with the purposes of EPMC. That'd be pretty
dope.
sweet. Yeah, it'd be really dope.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I'm getting different books together and stuff, and even the early preliminary mathematics that comes out of pushing the Doherty set through different AI is going to be an interesting learning study for people, because I would say, I wouldn't try to take credit for any of the math. I would say that it was an AI bot that created this. Then I would put it out there for people to critique, or debunk if the mathematics is right.
Well, as long as you use the standards and you clearly tell people you're using philosophical math and you're citing and you're clearly labeling things, that follows the EPMC standards. It's perfectly ethical.
Yeah.
And then it would be up to the community to debunk, test, program it into something and see what kind of diagrams it generates. It's a whole new era. I don't know if this would lead toward how to create things from intuition into digital form, but I do think it would be a pretty interesting scenario for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think these hot vibrations are of incredible fundamental importance. I think these are the energetic structures, self-contained energetic structures that exist on just about every scale. And I think understanding the geometry of that hot vibration at the smallest Planck scale, which incidentally happens when you implode water and make that just a tiny implosive solar. It kicks out a massive amount of light, and these structures are so that sometimes they can even pass right through each other. They seem when you then elongate the hot vibration, how is that related to a Bessel function? And I know the hot vibration is what's at the centre of the Martin Fleischmann fusion work, because that's how they're creating these hot vibrations, which just basically chew holes in bits of steel and stone or anything you touch. And I think these might even occur on a. I think that might be the basis of the energetic flow in stars as well. Geometry. So I think to be able to define a hot vibration and then see what happens to it when you stretch it with say time or I don't know, or distance, or put more energy through it. what theoretical what energies, what characteristics could you simulate on if you could simulate a Hopf vibration sort of mathematically and engineeringly, and then experiment with it to create shapes that you might see in the universe. I think it's a point that we've really got to investigate. And I think there's a lot of secrets in there. I mean, it's the stuff that was used in the implosion machine in Schauberger's his anti-gravity machine. Again, they're creating these hot vibrations in these spiraling streams of water, and as the water accelerates down the spiral, and when it meets the other bits of water, the bubbles in the water implode, releasing an awful lot of energy, and that is the basis of that machine. A lot of people, that one that Randolph Carlson has been messing around with, that works on that sort of hot vibration, and so we don't know how it works, what it actually does, but it certainly seems to be creating fusion. Different elements go into the ones that come out of it.
Yeah, even the tokamak, whatever the tokamak generator is using the same principles.
Yeah, and I think just about every week now there's a new fusion reactor that's just been unveiled, which is going to solve all the world's problems. I think there was recently one in Germany. I know China's been doing them. I think everyone's working on the technology. Certainly, I'm sure that all the weapons industries are pretty au fait with all that sort of technology. They're getting there anyway. So I think it's a great area of research to continue with and explore artistically, because again, if you're able to see coherent shapes or be able to define the small fractal bits, which way when you add millions of up create the same shape but a million times bigger, or whatever that scale is, maybe 30,000 times before you get that repetition. But it seems to happen numerous times. There's numerous repetitions on different scales. And I think it could be a fundamental geometric structure. I'd agree with Weinstein on that one.
Right along with what you're talking about here, incorporating, is Ramon still on? I think he dipped for a minute.
It seems to have gone for now.
I was going to ask him if there is an AI that can just scan like a series of triangles inside of circles and give you an equation for it, or multiple equations. Because if so, then there's the same thing that you just said. You could see the iterative process of the scaling up and scaling down of simple algorithms, because ultimately roughness and complexity is simplicity multiplied. Complexity breaks down into simplicity, simple patterns and repetitious rules. So if you could look at certain geometries, fundamentals of the Doherty set, if you could scan it and just get the math of just very simple geometry of it, then you could multiply it and get other geometries. That's how the Mandelbrot set was created.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I think the best way to approach sort of a problem like that would be to get the image and get a digitized copy of the image, and then there's a program called OpenCV, Open Computer Vision, and one of the basic computer vision tasks is to segment pictures, which is to split it into small pieces that will have say the same color as the same average color in there. And so if you've got geometric shapes, those segments would represent those geometric shapes, and then you can start measuring the sides on those shapes, on every one of them, and see if there's any relation between the lengths of those sides and the shape of the triangles. You know, you can actually do that programmatically. Now, whether after that it wouldn't intelligently start telling you what describing the shapes in sort of language, but what it could do is if you can put sort of 2D plates on each part of the shape, so that you're covering the whole shape, interior and exterior. All those plates, when they're added to when they're built into the vibration, they should have the same relationships. The smaller shape to its neighbour, its larger neighbour, and then that larger neighbour should have the same kind of relationship as the smaller neighbour does, if you see what I'm saying. So there is a way of analysing the shapes programmatically, but I think a lot of it will depend on what images you want to put into the thing to segment, you know. And then I think when you're using your geometries anyway, buddy, I think you know the relationship of one line to the next, don't you?
Yeah.
No, so what you want to do is be able to express that in a mathematical formula. Now, that should be part of the Bessel function, as far as I can understand it.
It shouldn't, or should?
It should, yes.
Yeah, it all should be part of the basic fundamental of the inverse square law, the inverse cubic law.
Yes.
So
and
what it is ultimately matching up with is the scale of light, how light scales, the longitudinal and logarithmic scaling of a light beam, and how light scales down into individual creatures via plasma morphologies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think modelling that vortex, both the inflow and the outflow, is you're modelling probably cells to an extent. Bruce Lipton talks a lot about this. That if you take any kind of animal, it does. The fact that it's alive has got to be defined in that it breathes, it shits, it eats, it breathes, it eats, it does it does a few basic functions, and each cell in your body does exactly the same functions as your whole body, but of course there's 30 trillion of those cells in your body, but each one of those breathes, shits, expire, all the same things that we do. So yeah, I think as above, so below is because he talks about those hermetic principles as well, which totally makes sense to me because they seem to underpin science as well. But that's yeah, I do like to look at it from that hermetic, more of a hermetic side as well, an esoteric side, because it always seems to fit with the science that seems to be successful. It all seems to be describing the stuff that those wise people knew about, according to the understandings of their time. Now, Walter Russell said it. I think someone said to him, it'd take 1,000 years for anyone to understand what he was talking about. That's what Tesla said about Walter Russell's work. And to an extent, I think Terence has made a bit of a mistake in plagiarizing Russell so heavily, because he doesn't understand the theory behind it, personally.
Yeah. Russell basically came out and said, Terrence basically came out and said a bunch of Walter Russell's theories were his theories.
Yeah. He probably dreamed them up while he was doing his doctorate in chemical engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably when they came to him in a flash. Walter Russell's work. Yeah. Probably a load of yours too, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there is a lot of value in Walter Russell's work, and Terence certainly hasn't seen it or understood it. He came out with the amazing observation that because the sun kicks out particles, maybe that's what created the planets. To an extent, it's kind of so, but he seems to have departed completely from an electric universe paradigm. Now he's gone completely solar.
No, that idea is Walter Russell's idea as well.
Oh, I see. There are a lot of Walter Russell's ideas, and especially to do with his harmonics and his interpretation of the harmonics that we see around us. I think there's a lot of value in that, and I think there's going to be, the more people do look at it and understand it, I think there will be opportunities for integrating his work into modern science.
I agree.
So yeah, I think it's still a very valid subject to research anyway, and I'm still fascinated with it, to be honest. So yeah, it's a good way to go. But it'd be nice to be able to that Rob Grenier, who's working on the Martin Fleischmann project, they're actually producing these little solitons or Hopf vibrations. Solitons, that's another name for them. So
Okay.
it'd be good to have a look at and see what you can find out about solitons as well, because I think they work the same way. Notice the soliton and the similarity to the word sol, the sun, and solo. I think the soliton is a miniature sun. They always seem to like water as well. They seem to be very happy around water, these things. So, and when you see these little you've got these satellite pictures and you see these bubbles or something flying past. These kind of blue orbs. People seem to see them popping up here and there. And these are solitons as well. Some people think they contain quite a lot of consciousness, and sometimes they burn people, and sometimes they just kind of dance around with them.
So it's sort of like
energy is concerned.
So it's sort of like a plasmoid, or like I don't know.
Yeah,
like almost like ball lightning, but it's like a plasmoid that you can't really see, but you know it's there, like an angel or something.
Yeah, I've seen some on videos, and that Osmagovich in the Bosnian pyramids, when they're down in the tunnel, I've seen some pictures of this ball lightning like floating around with these people in the room. It doesn't look like a doctored video at all. And it don't look like they're acting to something that isn't there. It seems like they do see something. It's but these things they seem to have. Some people think they have some kind of connection with their consciousness, or air consciousness, or some people think that's where your spirit goes when you die. It goes into one energetic kind of ball, which then kind of tears off out your body and so eventually blends in with the rest of the universal energy. I don't know. A lot of these small ones make the big one, don't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sounds like ensoulment and spirit and angels and ghosts and demons and stuff.
Yeah. It seems like something along those lines. There seems to be some kind of sentience in the thing, from what I can understand. Although I've never seen one myself, I don't think. But I'm looking forward to doing so. Sometimes, when I say I don't see them, sometimes I do see a little blue ball. But it seems, when I were a little kid at school and I was just learning to write and things like that and spell, and if you did a good piece of work, the teacher would put a tick on your page and stick a little gold star on your page, and it's so it was kind of pleasurable to see these. Or sometimes you got a little blue star, and it sometimes now, if I ever thought that, that solves something, or that provides me an understanding, I do get one of these little blue flashes. It's like a very good tick, off my teacher. It's just like I just get a little blue flash that it seems to be. I don't know if it's on the eyeball or, I don't know. Interesting phenomena. I wonder what's communicating with me when that happens. I don't know. I just wondered if anyone else gets these little sort of indigo. Is it azure? Maybe it's kind of a bright, very bright blue green thing that I see sometimes. But it's not. It doesn't seem to be one of those. I don't think it's an electrical ball of lightning. It's just hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just hard to know what you see. Keep looking, I guess. Keep searching.
Yeah. I know that there's got to be some app that, like, when you go around with your phone, it shows you all the math of things, like the height, the width, maybe just the dimensions. But there's got to be another app or something, or like Google Glass, where you can just look out into the world and see the math of different things, and then see by that you'd be able to see which ones need the math done. But you could look at a tree, you could see the basic math equations that come up. You could look at a couch or a house or the Mandelbrot set or anything, and then the math just recalculates it as you look around.
Mm.
You know what I mean? The screen just recalculates it.
Yeah. Well, I guess in order to do that, you'd have to analyze the shape and then reproduce the shape to as close and using building blocks, and keep on changing those building blocks until it incrementally until they fit that shape, that particular shape. Mm-hmm. So it'd be a process that you'd do. So you'd use that segmentation possibly.
You know, because now you can go around and you can like look at things with your phone, and it'll tell you exactly what kind of plant it is, exactly what kind of, you know, flower it is. But
yeah,
doing that same thing, but just seeing equations instead.
I don't think there's anything out there to do that, but I mean, certainly have a look. But I think it'd take a number of computer vision algorithms to start getting lists of numbers, which then you can find out the correlations of those numbers and the ratios of them.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can, you can build an equation. I suppose you've got to decide what factors you're looking at in the image.
Right. You have to be able to highlight it, see what's focused on.
Yeah, and what are the component geometries in that bit of the image, and then compare that bit of the image to other bits of the image. See how much what fits where. I'll have a read about all this anyway. I'll have a read on Bessel functions and Hopf vibrations, and I'm sure sort of in a program like Blender, if you program the Bessel function into that, it'll just start knocking out these geometries. Sorry. It'll just start knocking out these geometries. So that's a way to go.
Yeah, but I'm in the middle of working on some stuff for business, so I gotta let y'all go.
Yeah, and I'm off as well, gentlemen. So nice to speak to you again.
Good talking with you too, Nick, and good talking with you, Andy. Right. Thanks, guys, for the call-in.
Cheers, buddy.
No worries. Catch up with you, buddy. Yep.
Thanks.
See ya.
All right. See you. No
worries. Catch you later. Catch you later, Nick.
Cheers, Andy. See you next time, pal.
Cheers. You too, mate. Have a good day. Bye.